The mind is perhaps humanity's most powerful tool. With our collective brain power, we've built extraordinary engines of war, constructed breathtaking structures, and explored beyond our very own planet. There is no limit to what the human mind is capable of accomplishing in the right circumstances. And some people take that fact to an entirely new level. A list of the world's most powerful minds cannot be completed without the presence of Leonardo da Vinci. Call it a cliché, but Da Vinci was the true Renaissance man of his age and remains one of the most popular historical figures to be associated with intelligence. A man of limitless curiosity, Da Vinci's expertise included anatomy, literature, painting, invention, science, music, astronomy, writing, cartography, mathematics, paleontology, history, and engineering. With such a diverse list of interests, there's plenty to defend the position of Da Vinci on this list. From the moment that he came into prominence to this very day, pop culture has remained obsessed with the depth of his genius. Much of his written research was in mirror image cursive to guard against idea theft. There are pages of images that focus on anatomy, such as his study of life in the womb or the famous Vitruvian Man. With no formal education in mathematics or Latin, he taught himself the language while studying the nature of the human body. His sketches of the human body, from appendages to the human brain, are excellent examples of Renaissance biology. His designs for flying machines, wings, musical instruments, a mechanical knight that was a precursor to robotics, steam cannons, bridges, and hydraulic pumps demonstrate a fascination with innovation. While many of these inventions never came to pass in his own time, his influence over the centuries saw these devices built and refined, all thanks to his mind. His artwork could cover a second entry on this list alone, that is, the power and depth of the extraordinary mind of Leonardo da Vinci. One can only imagine what he could be capable of inventing in the 21st century, but we might be better off not knowing. We interrupt this semi-regularly scheduled Seriously Strange episode to bring you a commercial. Yes, a commercial. They help keep my channel in existence and help keep me living. And don't worry, we'll be right back to the episode in just a moment. This episode of Seriously Strange is sponsored by Dollar Shave Club. The people over at Dollar Shave Club believe in the work that I do, so I'm more than happy to tell you about their 3 S's approach to awesomeness. That's because Dollar Shave Club is an excellent solution to the shit, shower, and shave dilemma that so many men face down every single day. Well, if you join the Dollar Shave Club, you don't need to worry about these things anymore. Well, you'll still have to actually do all the things yourself. No one can take a shit for you. But Dollar Shave Club makes living in the world as a man so much easier. And Dollar Shave Club is offering my fans a special gift. If you head to dollarshaveclub.com/RobDyke, they'll give you an awesome starter set, which includes their incredibly sexy executive razor, along with a full cassette of blades and trial-size versions of all their most popular products, like body wash and ass wipes, all for only $5 with free shipping. You'll be shitting, showering, and shaving in style. Just be sure you shit before you shower, because otherwise that's gross. And speaking of style, Dollar Shave Club has tons more items to help you turn your bathroom from a messy disaster to a damn fine messy disaster. And you don't even need to shave your whole face. You could just shave around the edges and make it look better. And you could shave your neck too, you animal. Maybe you're like me and you're sick and tired of going to the store, looking through the millions of options you have to choose from, and paying way too much for things that you desperately need because you haven't shaved in a month because you barely left the house, and now people think you're the Unabomber. Now you don't have to step a foot out of your door. You can get them all delivered to your house for you with Dollar Shave Club. So one final time, head down to the description below, head to the link to dollarshaveclub.com/RobDyke and take advantage of this offer exclusively for you, my fans. Come on now. And when you support Dollar Shave Club, you support my show, and that's pretty awesome. So thank you for listening, and now, back to the episode. The human brain is capable of amazing feats. While men like Leonardo da Vinci are innovators, people like our next subject possess abilities that seem almost superhuman. An eidetic memory is the ability to recall images from memory with limited exposure without mnemonic devices. This means they are able to recreate images seen for a very short period of time. This description is not enough to describe the unbelievable mind power of Stephen Wiltshire. Born in London, England in 1974 as the son of Caribbean immigrants, Wiltshire was diagnosed as autistic when he was 3 years old. 2 years later, he began drawing automobiles and graduated to famous landmarks in London. His abilities evolved rapidly while he slowly grew out of a muteness that began in childhood. By age 9, he was finally able to speak fully. Wiltshire's ability is much stronger than just eidetic memory. He also has an element of creativity to his work. As an adult, he can draw entire cities based on one helicopter ride overhead. In 2009, he produced a 33-foot-long panoramic drawing of Tokyo from memory alone. He continued with other major world cities like Rome, Hong Kong, Madrid, Jerusalem, and London. After a 20-minute ride over New York City, he produced an 18-foot memory drawing of New York City. He took a second crack at the Big Apple in 2011 and completed his masterpiece, a 250-foot-long panorama that now resides at JFK International Airport. Wiltshire has turned his gift into a career of celebrity appearances and is also a member of the Order of the British Empire. He's still in his early 40s with plenty of time to make more complex and extraordinary artwork, thanks to his incredibly powerful mind. Brilliant minds can come from anywhere. Sometimes they can come at a cost. People with amazing brain power can occasionally struggle with certain elements of social interaction. This in no way detracts from their abilities, but it does go to show that these individuals can face their own challenges. Rarely we see this side of a super genius's story, unless it is depicted in film or documentaries. For Kim Peake, his life became center stage when he inspired an Academy Award-winning film. Born in Salt Lake City, Utah on November 11, 1951, Peake was born with macrocephaly, meaning an abnormally large head. He also had damage to his cerebellum and a lack of nerves connecting the two hemispheres of his brain. Before he was 2 years old, Kim began to develop the ability to memorize books and read at a surprisingly quick pace. As an adult, he was able to recall the contents of over 12,000 books with remarkable accuracy. Schoolwork became incredibly easy, finishing the high school curriculum at age 14. He worked as a payroll clerk at age 18, organizing pay for over 160 people. He was eventually replaced by a computer and 2 accountants, but he held that position for a decade, while only taking a few hours without a calculator to finish his work. His IQ only registered as below average at 87 on IQ tests, and he struggled with motor skills, but there was nothing average about Kim's incredibly gifted mind. In 1984, he was approached by screenwriter Barry Morrow, who was interested in making a movie about Kim's abilities. The result was the 1988 smash hit Rain Man, which won 4 Oscars, including Best Picture, Best Director, Best Writing of an Original Screenplay, and Best Actor in a leading role for Dustin Hoffman. This launched Kim into fame as a megasavant. Thanks to this feel-good film, Kim Peake will be remembered as more than just a brilliant mind, but also as a person who struggled, yet persevered all the same. Despite the best efforts of his rivals, historical fact prevented the burial of Nikola Tesla. The rivalry between Edison and Tesla is the stuff of legends, but the incredible mind of Tesla would not be denied its place in history. Today, his name graces the title for the world's most prominent electric automaker. A man of over 300 patents, his work helped to push science into the 20th century. One may think that this bold claim is a gross exaggeration of Tesla's accomplishments, but that would be untrue. This inventor, engineer, and physicist was a futurist and helped to design our modern-day alternating current electric supply system. If you've heard of an AC adapter for any electricity-run appliance, you can thank Tesla for his work. The Tesla coil was invented by him in 1891 and was meant to produce high voltage and frequency alternating current electricity. The circuits went on to be used in experiments for lighting, phosphorescence, electrotherapy, and later attempts at wireless telegraphy over 30 years later. He attempted to build mechanical generators, electrical discharge tubes, and a primitive form of X-ray. He was well known for his work in Colorado Springs on wireless lighting and electric power distribution. Even when he ran out of money, Tesla continued to push for innovation despite developing a reputation as a mad scientist. Sadly, he died alone in New York on January 7, 1943. 2 days later, the FBI seized many of his belongings for the purpose of analyzing any hazardous or dangerous applications of his inventions. Nikola Tesla even predicted the invention of the smartphone nearly 100 years ago. He was quoted saying, "When wireless is perfectly applied, the whole Earth will be converted into a huge brain," which in fact it is, all things being particles of a real and rhythmic whole. We shall be able to communicate with one another instantly, irrespective of distance. Not only this, but through television and telephony, we shall see and hear one another as perfectly as though we were face to face, despite intervening distances of thousands of miles. And the instruments through which we shall be able to do this will be amazingly simple compared with our present telephone. A man will be able to carry one in his vest pocket. His Wardenclyffe power plant prototype was his attempt at creating a world wireless form of telecommunications over 100 years before cell phones and wireless internet became an everyday item for billions of people worldwide. A polymath is an individual who is an expert in more than one field of science or mathematics. You've already encountered a polymath on our list today in the form of Da Vinci. Men who have cross-disciplinary expertise are uncommon, but when they get together, they can do extraordinary, but sometimes rather dangerous things. John von Neumann was the world's greatest polymath you probably never heard about. But you may very well be familiar with Robert Oppenheimer, the man credited with the creation of the atomic bomb during the Manhattan Project. Von Neumann was another scientist who contributed to the scientific breakthroughs of the project. Born in Budapest on December 28, 1903, von Neumann's legacy of interdisciplinary prowess would take several episodes to unpack. To keep things short, he was a major force in the 20th century in the fields of mathematics, physics, economics, computing, statistics, and was the leader in developing the operator theory in quantum physics. Von Neumann had the ability to perform complex mathematical operations in his mind so fast that other mathematicians were flabbergasted. His biggest contribution was no doubt his work on the atomic bomb. A brilliant mind, von Neumann was one of 5 scientists and military personnel charged with selecting the target of the first atomic bombs. Von Neumann believed Kyoto, a prominent city of culture in Japan, should be the target. Despite support from Manhattan Project leader General Leslie Groves, Kyoto was spared in favor of Hiroshima. After the bombs had been dropped and Oppenheimer remarked that the team had known sin, von Neumann responded with, "Sometimes someone confesses a sin in order to take credit for it." Von Neumann continued to contribute to nuclear studies, eventually developing the strategy of mutual assured destruction and pushing to develop intercontinental ballistic missiles to combat the USSR during the Cold War. He believed that if humanity would survive, it would be because his adopted homeland of the United States would overcome fascism and Soviet communism. In 1950, he was quoted as saying, "If you say, why not bomb the Soviets tomorrow, I say, why not today? If you say today at 5 o'clock, I say, why not 1 o'clock? These comments may paint the image of a bloodthirsty man, but von Neumann was a scientist dedicated to progress in the name of his country. He was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 1956 by President Eisenhower. His legacy should be remembered alongside Oppenheimer as one of the world's most powerful minds in human history. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to check out the link to Dollar Shave Club in the description below and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you next time.